Good evening.
Hello, teacher.
I think the other teachers are celebrating Chinese New Year today. Yesterday and today, they have to celebrate Chinese New Year. Okay, so have you already finished your homework, assigned task? Then, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will check your assigned task and then give you feedback on Tuesday. So for today, we are going to learn about the framework, the common framework of teaching practices. So actually, there are different ways of teaching techniques we can apply. But out of those things, I have chosen only 2 techniques which are very suitable for teaching young learners. So, okay, so morning, good afternoon. Yes. Okay, so now I just want to share the screen. So when we are teaching practices, we can use 2 main techniques in general. So if you're not using any course book, you don't want to use the course book and you want to teach the students with your own way. At a time, you can use the framework. The first framework is a kind of PPP framework. So if you have ever watched like some, some YouTube videos, or maybe like if you have ever read some of the books, you might know it. So do you know the long form of PPP? Anybody?
PowerPoint presentation.
PowerPoint presentation. Okay, thank you so much. What about the other teachers? Can you make a guess? Is there anyone who knows the meaning of PPP?
Is that
Yes, teacher Luna, come on.
sorry, I don't know it.
Okay, so anybody who knows that one? Yes, no? No idea yet. Okay, if you have no idea, I'm going to share you 2 frameworks today. The first one is PPP. So PPP framework is like this. We can also say like, if we want to teach something directly to the students, we can use PPP framework. Directly means sometimes we use our direct way of explanation. We explain something, right? Only after we have done our explanation, students can do in their own exercises, and they can also do practice the target language item. So for PPP framework, sometimes we could say like it's a kind of deductive teaching technique. Deductive teaching technique. We are trying to teach something directly to our students. So the long form of PPP is the first P is a sort of presentation. So presentation is like we explain the target language item to the students. So for example, today you are going to teach simple present tense to your students. At the time, you show your PowerPoint slide, you start trying to explain present tense. Present tense can be used for general truth, usual habit, blah, 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 blah. You start with your explanation section. Presentation does not mean student's presentation. Presentation is a kind of teacher's presentation. So we start the lesson with an explanation. That is the first P. And then second P is a sort of practice section. So practice is like exercises. Normally we do the exercises right after we teach some, grammar points or some vocabulary items. Now let's think about simple present tense. So for simple present tense, what type of exercise, what type of practice can we do after we explain something? Can we start with the view? Which exercise can we do for simple present tense?
Write in a sample sentence.
Do you think your students can write immediately? They just learned about simple present now, and then will they be able to write?
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank. How? Can you give one example for it?
Oh, yes. Example sentence, teacher.
Not example sentence. You're not a student, right? So as a teacher, which exercise are you going to give to your student to check they really know simple present tense or not?
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, choose the correct answer. You will give some sentences with a mistake, and they have to choose the correct answer. For example, I goes to school regularly, and then she go to the shopping mall every week. So something like this. At that time, they will try to correct the mistake on their own. So practice section is exercises. We try to give some exercises. And the last P is a kind of production stage. Production stage is like a kind of applying stage. They have to apply what they have learned in their, in their lesson. Now our target language is about simple present tense. So at the end of our exercise, we need to ask them to use their own, sentence or to use their own situation. For example, okay, everybody, now you have finished this one, right? Now let's think about your daily routines. What do you do in the morning? So after they have thought about that one, you can ask them to talk about it with their group members. Okay, teacher Luna, teacher Injin, teacher Jibu, you are in one group. And then teacher Sumon, teacher Sota, teacher Suki, you are in one group. Now let's talk about your routine. What do you do in the morning? So that is our production stage. They apply their knowledge back. Now they come to know about their simple present tense. At that time, they have to talk, and they can start applying their knowledge. So we can go step by step like this. And then another way is like, if we don't want to do our production stage like that, we can change our activity as well. So for example, I will start saying my routine first. I brush my teeth every day. And then I pass the bowl to the Jibu. At the time, the Jibu has to repeat my sentence. The Chonge brushes her teeth every morning. And I say my prayers in the mornings. And then she passed the ball to Teacher Luna. At the time, Teacher Luna has to say, Teacher Luna brushes her teeth every morning. Teacher Jibu says prayers in the mornings. And I have my breakfast at 7 a.m. every day. And then pass the ball. And they will try to repeat the sentence. And they also have to remember what the other people say. That's also a kind of production stage. So we can try to do our production stage in many different ways. Normally, PPP framework is very simple. Teach something. After we teach, we do the exercises. After exercise section finished, we try to apply back. So normally, most teachers, they do like this. After they teach some of the words or some of the grammar items, they ask the student, can you write one sentence with simple present? Can you make 5 sentences with simple present? It's really odd. The students, I have to write. So not to happen like this in our production stage, we have to create the activity where they can work independently and enthusiastically. So we create some activities and they will be able to work in their own way. So the short way is the first P, presentation. In our presentation stage, we teach something. So when we teach the grammar, don't teach the meaning of grammar only. We have to teach grammar, meaning, and also the form, the usage, everything in detail. In our exercise as well, what we can try to do different activities. At that time, it will be better for the students. And then the third one is production stage. We let them produce their own language. So this for grammar point, but at the same time, we can apply it for teaching some idioms and phrasal verb as well. This framework is for teaching anything. You can use it. So now let's think about it. Recently, we talked about the example for simple present tense. Supposing you're going to teach some phrasal verb. So some phrasal verb at that time, how will you teach? Step by step. So you can also think about the example as well. If you're going to teach simple phrasal verb, in your presentation stage, what are you going to do? Practice stage, which exercise are you going to do? Production stage, what are you going to do? Let's think about it. I will give you 3 minutes to think individually. Now, with the PPP framework, let's start trying to think about it.
Only for phrasal verbs.
Yes, only for future past. Okay, so now can I know about your idea first? Teacher Tashwin. So in your first P, what are you going to do?
Hello?
Yes, teacher.
Hello, dear. For the presentation stage, yes, for me, for the presentation stage, firstly, before we start, I will ask the questions to the students using present simple tense, and the student have to answer and answer the question in using the present simple tense. Then I'll explain the rules, form, and the function of present simple tense for the presentation stage. Yes.
Okay, so let me give you the feedback part by part. So you said at the beginning, you were asked like, have you ever heard present simple present tense, blah, 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 blah. Normally, if we ask a question like this, the students may say yes, right? And then if they say yes, the teacher usually keep asking, okay, can you explain me what present simple is? At the time, the students has no idea. They don't know what to answer and how to do. So instead of starting like this, you can start with some personalized chit chat. So don't use the grammar term at the beginning. Most teachers, they write down their grammar term in the middle of the board, right? Today, we are going to learn about simple present tense. So everybody, have you ever heard present simple tense? Don't use them. Instead of doing like this, you can start with the easier way. So for example, so as for me today, before I come to class, I have my breakfast and then I try to get dressed and I say my prayers. What about you? In the morning, what do you do? Can you tell me 3 things you do in the morning? And then they will start saying like, teacher, I do blah, 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 I do blah, 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 I do blah, blah, blah. One student after another, they will start talking about it. So we could say this is a kind of, how to say, beginning activity. Only after that, you can start trying to present the target language item. In your presentation stage, okay, yes, recently you talk about your morning activities, right? So do you do those things every day or sometimes or usually? Now let's think about it. As for me, I always take a break in the morning. What about you? What do you always do in the morning? Teacher, I always do blah, 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 blah. They will start saying it. Only after they have talked about those things, you can explain, yes, you're talking about the routines, right? The routines are the things we do every day. So those are, whenever we talk about those things, we have to use simple present form. So when we use simple present, we have to use with some of the frequency above as well. So always, sometimes. Can you tell me what other frequency above? Usually, rarely, blah, 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 they will say. And then you give the rule to the students and teach the student the form and the use of present, simple present. But if you want to teach more things about that, you can teach our usual habits, blah, 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 general truth. If you keep talking about those things, it's okay. It's up to your desire. But don't teach all the definition or all the information about simple present tense. It won't be okay. You can give only a few of them. So what about practice stage here? What are you going to do?
Me?
Yes, you can keep going till the end.
Oh, I'll share. Yes. For the practice stage, for the control practice, I will give the worksheets to the students and let them fill the gaps or the complete sentences. And for the pre practice, I will give kind of tables and let them make a practice section. Like, what is that? They have to go around the class and they have to ask the others, what do you usually do, like that.
Find someone who activity.
Yes, like that. And then they have to present about their friends and after that activity, like that. And for that one, they can get the kind of usage and kind of forms and like that. Yes, that's for the practice section.
Yes, so production section, right? In your production stage, you let them apply what they have learned, whether find someone to activity. But I don't hear well for practice section. Could you repeat that one a little bit? I couldn't hear properly for that one.
Oh, for the control practice, I will give the kind of worksheets and let them complete the sentences or fill the gaps for the control practice. And for the prayer practice, I let them make the practice section like kind of the activity. And the production stage, they have to present about their activity and they have to present about their friends, what they usually do, like that.
Okay, by the way, I asked you to think about phrasal verb, right? And you talk about simple present tense.
Oh, really?
Okay, so it's fine. We'll talk about that one later. Now, let me choose another teacher. What about Siasutek? Could you also talk about your phrasal verb? How are you going to teach with PPP?
Okay, so for the start, for lead in, I am going to some personalized questions, but not without context. So I'm gonna pick some phrasal verbs that are easy that they could get. So for example, like get rich or get famous. These are phrasal verbs. So I'm gonna add a picture that describe get famous, a picture that describe get rich, and then I'm gonna ask them a personalized question. Do you want to get famous or get rich? So they might not know the phrasal verb, but this is easy, so I think they will be able to guess it. And then I will ask, like those kind of personalized questions, like 3 questions. And then for the next step, I will explain, those verbs, like
Mhm.
how they work, how does get rich work? Get rich means like become rich. So like get plus get, when you get with an adjective, it means like becomes that adjective.
Mhm.
So I'll give some explanation, and then after the next step for practice, I'm gonna do like traditional method or exercises like multiple choice, fill in the blanks. And then for production stage, I think I could do, like discussion, debate, agree to disagree, using those phrasal verbs.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Agree, disagreement. So you will let them talk freely in your own production stage. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. So now you can have a look at these three exercises, teachers. Actually, these three can be used for practice section. Normally, when we make decision, the exercises for practice section, sometimes it makes us a little bit nervous. So out of these three, how do you think? Which one would be the easiest one for you? And which one is the hardest one for the students? Because we need to rearrange back, right? Sometimes the coursework arrange you in order, but those arrangement will not be suitable for some of the students. At the time, we need to rearrange back. Now, you can look at these three and the purpose of each exercise as well. For example, number one, activity. What is the hidden purpose of that activity? Number two, what about number three? You can think about it. And then you can start, rearranging back. Which is the easiest one and which is the hardest one? Actually, this is a practice for simple present tense.
Number two, the easy.
Sorry?
I think the second one is the easiest one.
The second one is the easiest one. Okay, why do you think so, yeah?
Because other has more risk, and like others are like more open. Number three is like too open in general, and number one is like risky. Like it's not just one step. You have like multiple steps, and two is just one step. So that is the shortest and the simplest exercise. Means the three.
Okay, so what about the other teachers? Do you also agree with this idea?
I think number one is the easier one.
Number one is the easiest one, teacher Ji Pyo.
Yes,
Why do you think so?
It's only need to rearrange the words. We don't need to change the verb form like in number two. In number two, he usually have like he is a singular, so we need to change the verb into the singular form. But in the number one, we need to change and we need to think about that kinds of rule. Yes, I think this number one is the easier one.
Okay, can I get the idea from one more teacher?
Teacher,
I think. Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Yes, teacher, yeah. You go
Yes.
first, teacher. You go first. You go first, teacher.
Me?
Yes.
Yes, Chair. For me, Chair, I think number three is the easiest one. I think for the students, because they can look at the picture and they can get the they can get the meaning of the picture, and they can just fill the blanks.
Okay.
I think that is
Look
number
at
three is
the
the
gap. So you think this is the easiest one?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, Chair.
Different people have different ideas. So I think I should ask for the last one. So who have another idea or who have the same idea with the others? You can talk about it.
Teacher, I think number one may be the difficult for the student, especially for the student who don't know exactly how to arrange the sentence, who don't know exactly about the sentence structure. Yeah, this sentence rearranging exercises may be challenging for them. So they have to think about, there are some students who don't know exactly where to put subject, verb, adverb, and phrases correctly as the complete sentence. Yeah, this may be a little challenging for the weak students, for the students, especially for slow learners.
Yes, of course, because sentence rearranging level is the hardest one. Sentence level, right? Subject verb agreement. Normally for subject verb agreement, we can learn it at fast. In our level one, we can learn how to make like singular form, plural form. So it's easy. But to be able to rearrange the whole sentence, It's really challenging. And also you can see the exercise format as well. We don't even give like with how to start. Sometimes we give them capital letter, right? At the time the students can know it and they will start with, oh, he, H start with a capital letter. So I should start with this one. But here, no idea is given to the students. So the hardest one is number 3. And then what about for number 2 and number 3, which is more difficult? Number 3, right? Because number 3 has 2 steps in general. First of all, the student, they need to understand the picture. This is a picture. That's why I just write it in the, how to say, red color. So they have to look at the picture, understand the picture fast. And then if they understand, it won't be okay. It is asking another one as well. Subject verb agreement item. It's asking 2 different portions. That's why it is more difficult. And for number 2, it is the easiest one because they don't even need to guess the picture. Some students, when they do the exercise, they don't even look at the later parts. They just look at the, oh, usually, and the he. So they have to fill this one. Rarely they, that's why they have to fill that one. They don't even need to read the whole sentence. They just need to put effort on subject verb agreement matter. So the middle one is the easiest one. So in our, how to say, practice section, if there are a lot of exercises, we need to make decision. Which one should we done or should we do first? So we should do, okay, number 1, this one, we will rearrange back number 1, number 2, number 3. We can rearrange some of the orders of the exercises from the coursebook. Or another one is if we are able to identify that thing, we can also reduce our, how to say, classroom time. So for number 1 exercise, is very easy. You can give them as homework. It's fine. They can also practice again at home. And then you can spend your time for number 2 and number 3 activities, not for number 1, so that you will have more time for production stage. Because in our lesson, production stage is the most important stage. We should take most of our time for production stage. So the teachers usually think like, I'm the teacher. I think I should talk more. I will spend more time on presentation stage. Yeah, it's okay. But, you know, if we talk more, the students will feel a little bit, how to say, odd, and it will be okay, especially with the students nowadays. So they don't want to listen. That's why give them a little bit and then let them apply more. Give them a little bit, let them apply more. This strategy can, how to say, got them something in their hand. In this way, they can produce back. You can also think back our childhood, right? When we were young, we used to learn a lot of grammatical items, a lot of vocabulary. We keep noted for so many years, but we never apply back. So when we check back our own notes, there are a lot of things in our notes, one book after another, we keep noted. But those things are still in our head. There is no place for us to produce. So we should have time to produce our, how to say, learning or things like that. That's why when you make decision for practice section, please be careful. And then try to select them. And then for some of them, use it in class. For some of them, you can let them do homework. In this way, we can save our time for production stage. Now, with this framework, I want you to think about the, how to say, the things we can do for production stage. So for production stage, we shouldn't end it by, how to say, by asking questions only or by asking them to do only. Now I'm going to give you the target language item. Based on that, no need to think about for presentation stage and practice stage, just for production stage. Let's think about it. Individual thinking time fast. Okay, so I'm going to give you the item. The first one is, I will put the previous one as well, phrasal verbs. Supposing you are going to do some phrasal verb at the time, which production activity are you going to do? And then another one is present continuous. But your present continuous lesson is focused on, how to say, temporary action only, not for, yeah, that's temporary action. With this meaning, you are going to teach. At that time, which production activity are you going to do? And the next one is for teaching, how to say, sort of idioms. You can think of some idioms. So which one are you going to do? Only for these 3, you can think about the production stage. It shouldn't be the same, okay? So for the phrase above, teacher, I will let them make sentence with phrase above. At the time, your idea for second one and third one should be changed. Now let's think about it. I will give you 5 minutes to think individually. One minute left. Okay, time's up. So shall we start with Chesuke?
Yes, teachers. For the phrase above, I will provide them some sentences and students need to change this into the true statement for them. For example, I will give them, I usually wake up 6 a.m. and students need to change this into a sentence which are true for them. So they will change like I wake up every 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. like that. For the present continuous, I would like to go with old-fashioned activity. So find someone who is blah 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 in the classroom. So and then I will mix it another activity. I will divide into student A and B. A person who can tell the answer first can win a point, and then we can in the end of the activity we can find the winner. So find someone who is using their phone, or find someone who is wearing a white shirt or something like that. And for the idiom, I got two options for that. I will let them create their own sentences, or I will give them how to say that. I will give them personal questions. For example, like when was the last time you feel blue, or do you agree with the idiom? Many doesn't grow on tree, or like that. Yeah.
Okay, so you use 3 different ways.
Yes.
Thank you, teacher. What about Chesumo? Can I know about your ideas?
Yes, teacher. I think for phrasal verbs, an activity like one student pick up any phrasal verb randomly, and they add out this phrasal verb in front of the class, and other classmates have to guess what he or she is doing, and imagining the phrasal verb, acting out the phrasal verb. Yes.
Okay. So for example, they draw the lot and they have got like pressure at time. They have to show the action, and the other people make it.
Yes, yeah. The other people guess the phrasal verb.
If so, I think that is a good one for practice section. Practice section. We're checking their memory, right? Practice section is we are checking how much they remember about what they have learned. So recently they learned about pressure, and then you put it in the lot, they open it and they do the action. The other people, they have to make a guess, only the action. They don't have any speaking activity or any writing activity. So actually your activity is a good one, but not for production, only for practice section. So if you want it to be like production stage, you can keep doing. First of all, they draw the lot and they do action. And then if they are able to guess, they have to talk about their own activity. So brush up. I brush up my teeth 2 times a day, something like this. And then the next one also, they draw the lot, they got it, they do the action, and the other friends, they are going to make a guess. If they are able to make a guess, they need to make one sentence about themselves. So in this way, it will be production here. Okay, what about for another one here?
Present continuous. For present continuous activity, I will use ping pong activity. Like, start with the teacher. Hello, everyone. Now I'm thinking about what are you thinking about now? Now I'm thinking about my break time. Hello, Inji, what are you thinking about? Okay, so she will ask, teacher, now I'm thinking about my house, or about my exercises, about my homework, and she will pass this what are you thinking about questions to other classmates. And in this way, we can do present continuous activity. Okay, so, and then idioms. Actually, I have no special idea to think about the idiom activity, but if we teach, for example, pink of health idiom, we can I will give the sentence with a gap, like I was in blank yesterday, and I will choose 3 options to choose, like pink of health, blue of health, and black of health. And the student who know the answer will pick up the correct answer, like this.
So they can pick up the correct answer because they learned it. That is a good one for practice section.
Practice section.
Normally we think like this, right? If we do something really, how to say, an enjoyable activity in the class, we think like that is production stage. Actually, production stage is, yes, you're right, production stage, it should be fun. And then it should be communicative. And then it should, how to say, make the students speak or write something in, how to say, complete form or complete context. In this way, the students will be okay. We cannot say the word only directly. If we are able to say the word or phrase, it means we remember what we have learned. That's why we can use. And some teachers also, when they do demonstration section, I see like they try to use bamboozle game a lot for production stage. So for the present continuous, they show the picture and then they ask a question, what is he doing? And then if you answer that one, you will get 5 points in bamboozle. But actually, if you do like this, we are just checking their memory. We ask and they answer. We ask and they answer. That is for practice section only, not for production yet. So production section should be communicative. The students, they need to talk to each other at the end. They need to apply their language back. Maybe if you want them to write, you can give them as homework for writing. So basically, we should have these 3 characteristics to be a production stage: fun, communicative, speak or write something in complete context. In this way, it will be much more applicable. So it's not for, how to say, activity only, communicative. We shouldn't forget that point. Okay, so after that though, it's time for you. Could you talk about your ideas?
Yeah, for the phrase above, I'm gonna do some role play. I think it's similar to teacher Sumo. Like if I'm teaching about phrase above, I can ask the student to add out according to those phrase above. But this time I'm gonna like somebody is adding out like having a breakfast. So like the other student will answer, oh, sir, teacher, he is eating breakfast or something like he is something. For the present continuous, I'm gonna choose the find the difference, So I'm going to make them work in pair. So each pair will have pictures of someone doing something. So say student A have pictures of eating something. So student B will have a picture of drinking something. So that the student B will say, or student A will say, so in my picture, Jack is eating a banana or something like that. And student B will say, in my pictures, Tony is drinking something like that. And for the idioms, I haven't really thought about it.
Okay, so your middle activity, especially how to say find differences is a very nice one. And then most students, whenever they have some difficulties in speaking, at that time we can prompt them by showing some pictures. So it's great. But one thing we need to be careful is whenever we show the picture, they just want to describe the main information only. They don't want to say it in a complete sentence. For example, they might say like, eat banana, ride a bicycle, something like this. So we should encourage them to use it in a full sentence so that they can practice the target language item properly. Okay, thank you, Sia. And what about another teacher? Teacher Injin, could you also share your ideas?
For phrasal verb, I give 3 phrasal verb, and they need to guess which phrasal verb is suitable for this sentence. She need to plan. She need to plan to hold, and I give 3 phrasal verb like go back, go away, or go to. The student discuss each other and answer this question. For present continuous, I will separate the teacher or student into 2 groups, and I will ask who is wearing wrong glasses, and the one picking up the answer will get 1 mark, and the student will answer the question. For the EDN, I like a sentence on the book like over the moon. So the student need to guess this meaning. Which meaning is the over the moon is about. One student get up, stand up and tell the meaning of over the moon. This is about happy. So the student need to write their own sentence by using this EDN. Like that.
Yes, so your second and third activities are quite okay, but for your first activity, you will give like, how to say, the options for phrasal verb, right? And then let them choose the correct meaning or correct definition. So they are able to choose the correct definition because they remember what they learned. It's not applied yet. So you need to do one more step to make them apply. because your activity is for practice section only, not for production yet. So for that one, you need to let them make use of some sentences or create some situations where they are able to communicate together. So if you want to refer to some communication-based exercise, you can also find this book. This book is really nice. I am not sure I've ever told you not. You can download it easily. Keep Talking. It's a really nice book, and you can, how to say, create a lot of activities. If you can find this book on your own, you can let me know in Messenger group, and I will share you the book as well. But if you are able to find on your own, it's fine. You can find it. So Keep Talking activities. There are so many activities in this book, and we can also try to learn little by little. Maybe you can commit yourself, like, start from today, I will try to read 3 activities per day. You read only 3 activities, and then you can substitute with your own target language item. Supposing you're going to teach future tense, and then with future tense, how can I adapt this activity? With color idiom, how can I adapt this the activity? You can think of your own adaptation ways and create yourself. In this way, you can, how to say, you can have more productive activities on your own. So keep talking. But first of all, don't forget it. We need to be able to teach according to the framework. So the very first framework we talk about is PPP. PPP framework we have already done. Presentation, practice, production. I didn't write down the leading, okay? Because I know, like, you will put your leading stage automatically at the beginning. And then another framework is TBL framework. So this is also a famous framework in teaching, especially, you know, when you meet the very active people at the time, we can use TBL. But the fact is, like, TBL is a little bit time consuming when we are trying to use it in class. So for TBL, the way is like task. We start the lesson with the task or activity or project. And then only after that, we can present our target language item. Presentation, it's like a kind of explanation stage. And then they know it through your explanation. Now we are going to do the practice section one more time, exercise again. And finally, we can create another task or another activity or another project work for that. So that is a framework for teaching with TBL. Mostly for PPP, we could say like deductive teaching method, right? We teach something directly to our students. For TBL, we could say it's a kind of inductive teaching technique. Because we don't teach the students directly, we teach students indirectly. Indirectly means, how do you say, we never explain the words or we never give the rule to the students. They have to discover it on their own. So activity first, explanation later. Activity first, explanation later. So but how to say, when we teach with this technique, we need to be very good at using different activities or different tasks, and we need to have enough time for our class. If we don't have it, it would be a little bit difficult. So for example, now you're going to teach, supposing present continuous tense to your students. Okay? You want to teach present continuous for the things happening at the moment. With this meaning, you want to teach present continuous. At that time, you know, if I'm going to use TBL technique, I'm not going to explain everything first. First of all, I will make you into groups. So like I will make different groups. One group. One group. Luna and one group. 3 different groups. And then for each of the group, I will give you 1 paper each. If it is for physical class, I will give you the paper. If it is for online class, I will give you the Padlet link. So you will have your own Padlet link. And then I want you to, I want to give you like around 5 to 7 minutes with your group members. So what you need to do is you need to go around your school environment or home environment and just write down as many sentences as you can. What the things are happening near you. So I told you that, okay, everybody, as for me, near my home, the dog is barking and the women are talking and the bird is flying. What about you? What is happening near you? Now, please go and write as quick as possible. If it is for physical class, students in group, they can go together near the school compound and they are going to write as many sentences as they can. But if it is for physical online class, I will let them get out of their, how to say, maybe like through veranda or maybe through, how to say, the doors or something like that. They are going to write within limited time. When they come back, I will write down what they say. Okay, group 1, tell me, how many sentences have you got? Oh, okay, you got 20 sentences. What about group 2? How many sentences have you got? 30 sentences. Oh, good job. And what about for group 3? 10 sentences. Oh, okay. Now let's listen to the idea of group 2 first. Group 2 will start saying the sentence and I will write down what they say on the board. But at that time, I am not going to correct their mistake. Some students might say the sentence in simple present form. Some students might say the sentence in present continuous form. So whatever it is, I'm going to write down everything. And then only after that, I will let them show like, okay, everybody, now look at those sentences. So out of those sentences, look at the main verb. What are the main verbs? When they say something, I will underline the main verbs. Now look at it. In most of the main verb, what about their ending? How do they end the section? Teacher, with ing form. Okay, in front of ing, what do you see? Look at it. Sometimes is, sometimes are. Okay, am is are. How do we say am is are in English? Verb to be. Okay, verb to be plus ing form. This is we call present continuous. So only after that we can lead to presentation section. First of all, they have to do a task. It's not like a normal reading activity. This task is really communicative and it should make them very busy. They should be busy a lot. They cannot finish it in 5 minutes. They need to finish it in 15 minutes or 20 minutes where they have to work with their peers. So only after that, based on their research or based on their practice section, I am going to explain some target language item. Present continuous can be used for blah, 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 blah situation. And then do some exercises for them, like the ordinary way. And finally, we have to create another 20 or maybe like, 30 minutes activity again. So here also, you can create another activity. Maybe you can even give them like, let them choose a photo from their Facebook, or maybe let them take a picture near them. And then they have to start talking about the pictures. In this picture, blah, blah, blah is blah, 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 blah is blah, blah, blah. They will start trying to describe it. So, but they have to describe that one with their friends. So in this way, the activity can go on. So TBL, in TBL, we have to use 2 busy tasks. The task should be like the production stage. It should be communicative. It should be fun, but not like the ordinary production stage, because production stage usually happens only at the end. In TBL, we can find 2 types of activities, productive activities at the beginning and at the end. So it's like that. So it is similar to our teaching practices. So I don't think I have used this technique in your class yet. So maybe in the future, not in the future, next week, I'm going to show you the PowerPoint slides for teaching grammar. How can we teach grammar? So, but I won't explain anything. You need to start trying to work out with your friends. What is it? How is it going? Blah, 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 blah. And then without getting any explanation, you have to start planning the lesson of your own. And then based on your needs, I will try to explain you, okay, I think your way of teaching needs to improve in this area, that area. Only after that, based on my explanation, you are going to plan your lesson one more time. And finally, you can do your demonstration section. So TBL is a kind of project-based learning. So we can also think of it in another way as well. Another way is like some teachers are eager to teach theory, right? You want to teach how many types of nouns, how many types of adjectives, how many types of phrasal verb. Yeah, it's okay. If you want to teach that one, don't explain fast. First of all, group your students. So group 1, nouns. They have to find how many types of nouns are there in English. They have to do research on their own, and they have to come up with their own presentation. And then the next group, types of verb. The next group, types of adjectives. And then you give obviously a certain amount of time. When they come back to the main section, let them do their presentation. When they present, you note down and explain only on the necessary points. You don't need to explain, or you don't need to add more ideas if they are not saying anything yet. Only after they have said something, you can say like, oh, okay, I think in your presentation for the types of noun, you need to include abstract noun as well. Abstract noun is blah, 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 blah. You don't give full information. You give only a few information only when they're in need. And then after that, you can do practice for their, necessary points. And then finally, you can prepare one more task. One more task is like they can prepare some questions. So for example, they have to create their own questions like, I got an email from my friends. And then they underline the word email. And then number 2, I love to bake the cake. And then you underline the word CAK, cake. So after that, you can ask the students to create the activity like this. They create it, and when they come back to the main section, they have to ask each other, CAK, cake, what type of noun is it? Email, what type of noun is it? So they their own questions, and they work, their duty on their own. In this way, they can be very busy, and they can also be motivated to learn something. Teacher is not the leader only. Students, they can take responsibility for their own parts, and they can work something better. That is, we call it TBL. Mostly, TBL can be used in our teaching practices, but if you have only, a certain amount of time, we cannot use it every day. Maybe you can apply TBL in your lesson once a week, or maybe like 2 times per week, 2 times per month, or something like this. You can apply it according to your amount of time. And nowadays, most of the students, especially young learner students and preschoolers, their teachers usually train them to get learning by TBL technique, play-based technique. So for the adults as well, we can use them in our teaching practices. You know Wall Street English as well, right? Wall Street English. So have you ever heard?
Yes.
Yes, they are also practicing TBL technique mostly. So mostly the students, they just have to do everything on their own. The teacher is a facilitator only. Teacher help them when they're in need of help. So this technique is really effective actually when we are teaching the students. But in our old age, not like this, right? The teacher is the leader all the time. Teacher explains starting from the beginning until the end. Only after that, the student, they have to keep practicing something. Okay, so now I am going to give you the group task that is for group teaching activity. Okay, I just want you to prepare group teaching activity mainly for PBL, not for PPP. I know that you are familiar with PPP already. So group teaching ability, you can choose any target language item you want. Okay, anything that you want. So for example, if you are able to teach tenses, you can choose one tense that you like. Tense or idiom or collocation or phrasal verb, or just some vocabulary, ordinary vocabulary. You can choose any item together with your friends, just one, only one. And then with this framework, you can plan the lesson together. What are you going to do and how are you going to do? So if you agree with the plan, you can start drawing, you can start dividing the room. For example, if you three are in one group, you need to decide who is going to do the task section and presentation, and who is going to do practice section, and who is going to do another task. You can divide the duty. So everybody will do like 1 stage or 2 stages only, not for the whole procedure yet. Group teaching activity. That's why, you know, if one of your friends are absent next week, you need to take responsibility for it. So maybe, for example, some teachers are absent, like, I haven't prepared yet, blah, 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 blah. At that time, the other group members need to help him or her. So if one of your friends cannot join the class because of their electricity issue or connection issue, you need to help them as well. That's why please keep noted your group members in breakout room so that you will be able to discuss together. Now, start from now, I'm going to give you discussion time and preparation time so that next week you can start doing your demonstration session. Group teaching activity is 30 minutes. 30-minute demonstration activity. You can choose any item that you like. So now, teacher Sumo, teacher Luna, Sia Sota, teacher Supi, Sia Dudajo, you are in one group. And then teacher Injin, teacher Jibu, teacher Tashwizin, you are in one group. I think 2 gentlemen are in one group. So I will move 1 gentleman to another group. It will be better. So Sia Sota will be in room 2. Sia Dudajo will be in room 1 because gentlemen should be the leaders. So let's try to prepare together. And then next week, not presentation, micro teaching, group micro teaching activity. Let's get started.
All right. So let's choose the target.
Yes.
So what are we going to teach?
Vocabulary. Some vocabulary.
Vocabulary, yeah, it's a wide range. Oh yeah, there's another teacher. I was like,
I think
yes,
vocabulary. Yes, vocabulary is a wide. That's why I think vocabulary
So
should choose.
What
how
about
many
other?
vocabulary?
Yeah, so like, let's vote on it, and then we will choose the target language that gets the most votes. So the C2 is vocabulary.
No,
What
I
about
think I should choose that's like faster or
okay. Yes. Okay.
yes. I think that is easier than vocabulary, like writing and standard.
Yes, like I think that's it also. Yeah.
For vocabulary, we need to think, right? Okay.
Okay, so that's it. That's it. Which target language do you want to teach?
Let's choose tenses. How about tenses?
Tenses. Okay, tenses have 2 parts. All right. Okay, so
Which
from
tense?
yeah, we were designing this. For me, I want to choose, you know, like grammar, but not tenses. Maybe like it's collocation. Yeah, but tense has most votes, 2 votes. So let's choose tense. So, which tense are we going to do?
Present perfect.
Present perfect is quite difficult. I am
Yes.
taught that.
I think collocation is a little bit difficult for students.
Oh, please don't.
For us, we need to teach
Yes.
hard,
Yes.
but it's a little bit difficult, I think.
Alright.
Please
So
don't choose idioms and collocation, please.
Yeah, collocation and idiom are a little bit difficult, I think.
yeah.
So we need to choose between standard and phrasal verb, I think.
Yeah, we chose tenses because tenses have 2 votes. So
Past
okay,
tense.
so present perfect, present simple. Okay.
So which one do we choose?
What about past tense?
Present tense is very easy, I
Yeah,
think.
there's like present continuous, present perfect. If we want to go a little bit more difficult, we could do like, you know, present perfect continuous. So what's the difference? What's
How
the
about
difference?
present perfect? Present perfect
Yeah.
or past perfect?
We could do like, what's the difference between present perfect and past perfect? Past tense.
Oh,
Not
oh.
past perfect, past tense. Like it's the most common misconception.
So what about
But,
present continuous and past continuous?
Yes,
it's not.
Oh.
I think it's not related
yeah,
each
past-
other.
Yeah, past
Uh,
continuous. When you teach past continuous, you have to teach conjunction too. Like why,
I
well.
think
Yes.
difference
like-
difference between past simple and past continuous.
I think we need to choose past tense and present perfect.
Past tense and present perfect. Yeah, I also like the
that's it.
idea. Past tense and present perfect. Yes.
How different, right? For present perfect, this is about for
Okay.
a whole time, right?
All
Past
right.
tense is simple, I think.
Yes.
So
So let's vote on it. So we have what was it again? What's your choice? What's your
so which
tense
time do we choose?
Yeah. Let's go one by one. Teacher GP, what's your 10th choice?
My test choice is past simple and past continuous.
Past simple, past continuous. Okay, teacher, that's
Oh
you.
no. Sorry, no, past simple and past perfect.
Past simple and past perfect. So had
Yes.
and perfect. Yes. Okay. Teacher, that's you.
So what about past and past continuous? We are talking about past.
Past simple and past continuous. Okay. All right. And that's another choice. So change it.
I choose past and present perfect.
Past simple and present perfect. Okay.
All are different.
Okay.
Let's draw lost.
All right. So I'm gonna vote for one of the three.
Oh.
I think we need to choose only that, right? Oh.
Yeah. So I've never done I've never done past and past perfect. But past and past perfect, like I do
But
think that-
it is a little simple, a little bit similar, I think, past and past perfect.
yeah, they don't like I don't see them being taught together. So
They
So
have-
how about past continuous and past perfect?
past continuous and past perfect. Yeah.
No, present perfect. Past
yeah.
continuous, present perfect.
What's where as a yes.
Past continuous and present perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm just gonna vote. Okay, I'm gonna choose past simple and present perfect. I like that idea. Okay, so we have tense. So our
So-
tense is
So past simple and present perfect, right?
Past simple and
present perfect.
present perfect. Okay.
Okay, so we got tense. Okay, right. So now let's decide the test. So we have four main texts, right? Four main stages.
Yes. Task.
Past simple and past continuous.
No.
Present
Past simple and present perfect.
Verb to and has verb to. Yes.
Yeah.
Past simple and present perfect. Perfect.
All right. So now
Yes.
let's separate the text. Who is going to do what?
Yeah, you need to go fast because you are only one guy, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So we have what's
There are 4 activities. There are 4 people, so it's good,
Well,
right?
Yeah. It's
yes.
cool.
So I will do the ending.
No. You
Oh,
should
please
do
do text or activity project first.
Yes.
Oh, the first one, the introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, all right,
So-
I'm all right with that. I will do that. Yes.
You are also leader and the only guy, so you need to go fast, I think.
All right.
Can I ask? I don't understand clearly. One.
Yes.
Yes. In the TBL framework, we need to text or activity project before
Yeah,
we
Twice.
explain. Yes.
They are different. The first one is like for introduction activity, and the last one is like applying that activity.
Yes, I see.
Yes, applying what you have.
After introduction stage,
Yeah.
we need to go to explanation stage, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So I will do the first one. I will do the
Okay.
I will do
the
presentation.
intro text. Yes.
I think I will choose presentation and budget because I don't like to do tests or activity in the lab.
All right, all right. Okay, so
I will just practice.
okay, GTDP is practice. So teacher again, did you choose presentation, explanation?
I will choose
Yeah,
presentation.
you have
I
you
will
have to
choose budget.
you have to explain past simple and present perfect. It's also your idea, so you should explain it.
So how about budget? Budget is teacher the now one. The teacher that's really.
Teacher give you what to practice. Yes.
already
So
took that.
yeah, teacher Dashi is left with the last one.
Yeah, the task.
The big
Game.
one.
So I will present
Production
about that
stage.
that case one.
Yes. Okay. So we have separated the tags. We have what we are going to do.
So
Okay.
yeah, so tell we go first and then me
Yes,
and then
teacher
and then-
you.
teacher and teacher that's really in last.
Yes.
All right.
For first activity, which activity do we choose?
Yes. I have to think about it. Yeah. Okay. I don't have many ideas right now, but I will work on it during the week.
This is the introduction activity, right?
Oh wait, actually, I think I have my PowerPoint presentation of present perfect and past simple. Let me start it.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's because I used to teach that, but it's not very good. You know, like I didn't have any training, so it's not really perfect. Okay, so here it is. I was sent this, so you could also read it. So, I teach this for elementary level, so like it is too simple, too basic. So, here, yes.
Wow, good.
Oh,
So, you know, like we use present perfect for like life experiences. You know, have you done this? Have you done that? So, for introduction, we could ask like like have you watched this movie? Have you watched this book, etc. Yes. So like, yes. So but maybe like we could make students go around in the
Wait. We choose two dance, right? Teacher told us that we only choose one dance.
Oh no, we need to explain differences between yes, difference between past simple and present perfect.
Okay.
yes. So maybe like you could give them, for introduction, you could give them questions, two questions, one question present perfect, one question past simple. So like, have you ever watched Harry Potter? And then like, when did you watch it, like that? So you could make them, go around in the classroom and ask. So like,
Ask the question or each other.
or if you don't want to, limit, you could just make them ask about, you could just tell them to like ask about what movies your friends have watched. Like you could ask any about the movie. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like like you. Let's imagine you're the student. You go around in the classroom and you ask like, okay, have you watched this Korean drama? Have you watched this? Have you watched Squid Game? Like that. It makes them ask anything they want, and then like it's like find someone who. Yes. Yes. So like we could do that for interactivity, and then like you can make them write down, or you can write down for them in the whiteboard board if you are like in a physical class, or if you are in a like Zoom class, you can make them type in the chat. So like they would type that, okay, who has watched this movie and they watch it like in December or on December 21st, like that. They could write like that, and they might be confused a little bit about present perfect and past simple, and then there comes the explanation. Changing will like explain what's the difference. So I don't have a very good explanation of it here. It's like a very long explanation. It's like I should do my examples. So it's like
Present perfect.
So yeah, actually, one thing to worry about is that present perfect and past simple are like, there are varieties. If you translate it into Burmese, there are so many ways we can translate them. BB, BB, okay, something. So for example, I've had dinner in somewhere like that, or life experience. I mean, the life experience, including the people is here, but I have been to Japan, so this is like life experience. So like different versions of present perfect, just like
Oh,
present
we
continuous.
know. I think we need to make PowerPoint or
Yes.
Yes, we need to.
We need to make PowerPoint. We need to prepare.
so I think we need to meet on Wednesday or Thursday
Yes. Okay, please, I need to like tell you something because
because we need to make a present PowerPoint together on one
No,
laptop.
no, we will make our parts and then we will combine together.
Okay.
And we will also share each other's work.
Who will make the PowerPoint?
I think everyone will.
Everyone.
Everyone each make each PowerPoint and
I
send
see,
to
yes.
one person. This person will combine.
Yes,
Oh,
make
yes.
a
Also,
PowerPoint for
yeah.
our part.
And
Yes.
if you guys have time, we could meet up before the micro teaching. Like on
Yes, we can.
Friday or Thursday if you have time, and then we could like practice it.
Yes.
So we will make our
Like do a
presentation
rehearsal. Yes.
Yes.
until Thursday. Until Thursday, and we will meet on Thursday or Friday.
Friday.
And we will decide it later. It's too early.
Yes, please.
Yes, it's too early.
The deadline is maybe Saturday. Is
Five.
it okay? Because I have an
yes.
exam. Yes, I have an exam for this week.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Okay. So one thing to mention about present perfect is that it's like present continuous. We also use present continuous for future.
Yes.
Yes. Right. So like present perfect is similar. It has many different usages. So you could use it, to talk about things you have just finished, or you could use it to talk about your whole life experiences. So what do you want to go? Do you want to talk about life experiences, or like you want to talk about things you have just done now? So to be clear, I will write down 2 examples. I think. Okay. I think it's obvious in negative. When we use present perfect in negative, it's so obvious. I have not. What is happening? I have not done my homework. And then another type of present perfect negative is that I have never kissed anyone. Sorry, it's a bad example. All right, so like this is like like we're talking about like recent activity, and then the other one is like your whole life as a whole, like since you were born.
Too
It's
fun,
a
right?
life experience.
Yes, and I think there are other types, but these are the 2 main types of present perfect. So which one do you want to focus on? Do you want to do like the recent activity one, or do you want to do the life experience present perfect?
Recent activity. It's better.
I mean, this is just a bad example. You could also use I have never been to, let's say, a country like USA. You could also say that.
I have never dated.
All right. That's personal. Let's not talk about personal stuff. Right. So I think this one is a little bit more difficult to explain from my personal experience. And this one is like easier to
It's
explain.
easier than that. Yeah.
So which one do you guys want to choose?
Recent activity.
Life experience.
Like experience.
Okay. All right. I also like life experience.
Oh.
So let's go with that one. So we're gonna explain the difference between past simple experiences and present perfect life experiences. So for example, did you ever talked? Did you ever
Did you ever talk your friend about your game?
tell her that? Okay, so like so grandpa, did you ever tell her that you love her? Sorry, I'm choosing that example. Or you could also be like, have you ever, okay, the same one, but grandpa, have you ever told, have you ever told, no. Have you ever dated a man? Let's see. I'm choosing terrible example.
Okay.
The first
Alright.
one is
The
past
first
tense.
one is
Yes. So, okay, so how are they different? Let's try to explain.
First one is a type or in the past,
Yes, and
right?
present perfect is
Until now, has she ever dated a man like that?
yes.
Is she dating or was he dating in the past?
Yes.
at his experience.
And teacher Rashid.
How can I explain that?
All right. So I think this is teacher Engine's part, right? To explain the grammar. So let's talk about timing. So we have only 30 minutes for micro teaching, right?
Oh, yes.
30 minutes. So this is hard to explain. So we will need to be quick with the explanation too, because we have other texts.
Detail? Oh, wow, we're going to use.
For the first text activity,
Yeah, for the practice.
for the practice,
Practice, yeah. And what exercise
presentation
are
or
we going to use?
explanation, but you can't.
Oh yeah, we haven't choose, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, for the text, for the first stage, I will
For the
be
first
handling
stage,
it.
yeah, so you do that job.
Yeah,
Well, who
for the
first?
second
And
stage.
second stage,
Teacher Sumo?
Yes.
Yeah, since you have the most experience here, I think you could take the
Okay,
I
hardest
think you
one.
can. Yeah, I think you can explain more than us.
Yeah.
okay, teacher, I will take the presentation explanation session.
For
So
the
the last
practice
one,
session.
practice.
Yes, okay. Choose. Right.
Which one would you like to choose, Teacher Luna?
You choose first.
Okay, I will go with practice.
Practice. Okay, so I will do the final test.
Yes.
Okay.
So we already have some ideas, so we just need to prepare some PowerPoint slides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to prepare PowerPoint slides?
I don't think so. I think we just need to discuss.
Okay.
And
No, I think we will need a PowerPoint slide.
not right
Yeah.
now, right now.
Well,
right now,
no, yeah,
လုံး
sorry.
ချင်းပြီးတော့တော့
ဟိုအတွက်လေနည်းနည်းလေးကြိုပြီးတော့လေ prepare လုပ်ရင်ကောင်းမယ်လေတူတယ်
ကျွန်တော်တို့
Google slide ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ပေါင်းပြင်လို့ရမယ်လေ
ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဒီ Google slide တုံးလိုက်ရအောင်ကျွန်တော် PowerPoint ကိုပဲဗျာတယောက် screen share ပဲပြီးနောက်တယောက် screen share ပဲအဲ့ဒါရင်
အဲ့လိုလည်းရတာပဲ
အဲ့ဒါအလုံးရှုံမလားလို့
လုံးရှုံမလား
ကိုက share
ပြ
လိုက်
73 minute ပဲရအောင်နော်
remote 30 minutes 30 30မဟုတ်လားဟင်30လို့ကြားလိုက်သလားမဟုတ်ဘူးလား sorry
73 minute
30လား
No, 30 minutes.
30
Yeah.
minutes
30
is much
30 minutes per group
Okay.
for 30 minutes
because we have only two group နှစ်ခုပဲရှိရနော် group နှစ်ခုပဲရှိရောတခြား
Yeah.
minute 30ပေးလိုက်တာ
Okay. I
So
misunderstood it.
PowerPoint
ဒါဆို
or
ရင်
Google
ပြန်
Slide?
Google Slide I think Google Slide is better for peer editing
Yeah, I can
Okay.
probably use Google Slide. I prefer Canva.
Canva မသုံးဘူးဟိုကလေ Google Slide ကြတော့ Google account နဲ့နည်းနည်းတော့ချိန်ရအောင်တော့ပေါင်းပြင်လို့ရရတယ်
Yeah, you guys choose. I'm going with
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
what you wish. If I don't know, I'm gonna research and go on YouTube and I'm gonna know it.
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay. Google Slides.
So Shaluna, are you agree with Google Slide?
Okay, but I don't know how to use it.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I have zero knowledge about Google Slide. So YouTube it is.
Yes.
Oh. တော့နောက်တစ်ခါဟိုဟာဒီစနေပေါ့နော်စနေမှာချိန်ရှိမယ်ဆိုအားကြတာနောက်ပိုင်းစနေရရင်ခဏထပ်တွေ့မလား
ဟုတ်တယ်တရက်လောက်တော့လေစုံကအဆင်ပြေမယ်သိလားဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့အချိန်ဆက်မမိမှာဆိုလို့လေနော်ဒါပေမဲ့ဟိုတို့ရဲ့ activity က mainly focus ကဟိုပဲထားမှာ descriptive adjective ကိုပဲထားမှာပေါ့နော် descriptive အဲ့ဆိုရင်presentation explanation descriptive adjective ကိုပဲ emphasize လုပ်ပြီးတော့ပြောရမှာပေါ့နော်ရှင်းရမှာပေါ့ဒုတိယတောင်းယူထားတဲ့ stage ကိုပြောတာ
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe better now to jam.
စနေရော
ရတယ်
စနေပြီလားဗျာစနေပြီမှာလေ class ရှိတော့
10နိုင်နောက်ပိုင်းလား
အဲ့နောက်ပိုင်းတော့ဟိုလေရ
10နိုင်နောက်ပိုင်းဆိုရင်တော့
အချိန်အများကြီးမလိုဘူးလေခဏလောက်ပဲ30 minutes လောက်ဆိုတော့အကုန်လုံး prepare လုပ်ပြီးသားဖြစ်နေပြီဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော် Google Slide လေးနည်းနည်းပါရှောင်းလုပ်မယ်ပြီးတော့နည်းနည်း presentation နဲ့ line ပြီးသွားပြီဆိုတော့အိတ်ကြပြီလားရှင်အိတ်သေးဦးမှာ
Google Slide ကလေပြီးတော့ Google Slide ကတယောက်တစ်ခုစီလုံးမှာလားပေါင်းပြီးတော့လုံးမှာလား
ပေါင်းပြီးတော့လုပ်အောင်
ပေါင်းပြီး
လုံးမယ်
ပေါင်းပြီးလုံးမယ်ဆို Google ဟို account လေးတစ်ချက်လောက်ရှုထားရအောင်လေ
Yeah, okay.
နော် အဲ့ဒါ Messenger ကနေပဲလာမေးလိုက်တော့
ညနေပြောလိုက်မှာ
နော်လာမေးလိုက်မယ်နော်
ဟုတ် Okay.
ထွက်တော့မလား
အချိန်ပြတ်ထွက်အောင်ဒါပြနေပြီ
meeting ထွက်ရအောင်
ထွက်တော့မှာဆို leave breakout room
အဲ့ဆိုညကြိုင်ထောင်လိုက်တော့မယ် Google Slide ကိုထောင်ပြီးတော့ invite လုပ်လိုက်မယ် email ဟိုဟာတွေ Gmail နော်ဟုတ်
Okay.
Gmail account လေးဒီညတောင်းလိုက်မယ်နော်ဟုတ်
Okay ပါ
ကျေးဇူးပါ bye bye
Bye. Fighting.
Bye.
Yeah, I think we can leave right now.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.